Hey everybody, Dr. Todd McDougall, Strongman Doc. Thought I'd give you a little different kind of video. I get so many people that are asking questions as far as things that they could do at home that are going to make a big difference for them. Me, as an aging athlete, if you will, I have had to make some changes. And so with those changes, I've had to come up with some different ideas. So anybody that is a DIY type person, you're going to absolutely want to stay on here and watch this because there's some real simple ideas that can save you a ton of money, especially with this stuff that's going on here in our old world that we've got, and the higher prices, if you will, of all the gym equipment, even the used stuff. So let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got downstairs. Are you ready? Come along. Okay, so here we are in my dungeon. Welcome to my space. Listen, the whole thought process here was I get so many patients that come in with a wide variety of questions. I also at the same time know that there are a lot of people who are do-it-yourselfers. So what I thought I would do is kind of show you what I've done. Like I said, I'm an aging athlete, so I have to change some of the dynamics of what I do to go ahead and keep me safe. But also at the same time, keep things open, moving, and with, my body weight actually reducing because I don't need to be 270 pounds anymore. I can do a lot of neat things that could actually make a big difference. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you my version of a reverse hyper. And then after that, then I'll go ahead and I'll show you what I've done in regards to making a do-it-yourself belt squat machine out of stuff I already had. So without further ado, let's take a look at this. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got a squat rack. And you can see that this is just an old cheapie, was an old Iron King. And the actual distance between the posts right in through here is 26 inches for me. Okay, so you can see my board right here. Now, this is what I've done, and you might find this very interesting. I'm not going to do compressive squats anymore. My back, I'm just concerned about it. I've got some disc issues, got some neurological things, so I have to watch out for. So what I did is I went ahead and I took a couple 2x4s, which you can see, one right here, and then the other right here, okay? I drilled a hole using an inch paddle drill bit, and then I slid the 2x4s over the rack posts, just like so. Alrighty, now, just so you know, most of the racks aren't square, okay? That in itself is a bit of a problem. But since I'm not going to really use the squat rack as a squat rack anymore, I can go ahead and use it for other things, such as putting a lot of the plates a little bit higher up off the floor, so I don't have to bend over so far. Lighter ones down below, of course. And then I can also use the squat rack for, my TRX system, hang my belts, also do things like grab onto this puppy here, and then I actually have a little dip station that actually comes apart. I haven't really lost the squat rack because I still have my posts down below here, and I can actually get longer ones if I so choose to do so. Alrighty, but anyway, back to the handy dandy reverse hyper. Now, you might find it interesting that I've got this luxurious piece of wood right here that I found in a dumpster. Okay, so I think it's like an inch and an eighth particle board with a veneer. Okay, so that's why it looks so nice. Now, to go ahead and secure things up a little bit more, I went ahead and I made sure that I put my 2x4 underneath here, vertical. And to give my swing space over here, I put my 2x4 here, horizontal. And then you can see I went ahead, I screwed all the way across. Now, can this thing come apart? Well, not real easily, but it can be done. And so I really haven't lost anything. The one thing you got to be careful of is when you go ahead and you drill the holes, and as you're putting it together, you might end up with a little crack. And you can see there's a little crack right there. But it's not going to go anywhere. There's the cross beam, okay? So you can kind of see it from this angle. I could have extended this, I guess, if you will, all the way to the ends of the 2x4s, but I did not. The other thing, and part of the reason why I had to go ahead and put a cross beam in through, not only for support, was because this is an old desktop, again, that I found in a dumpster, and you can even see the nice little edging right in through here. It really wouldn't fit the full 26 inches. So I had to do a little bit of rigging there to make that happen. Now, to go ahead and consider with continue with the top, I want you to take special note that I went ahead and I also made this here a little long. It's about 2.5 inches out here. In addition to that, you can see my little foam padding. That's a pool noodle, guys. That's all that is. It's just a pool noodle. I cut it in half and I slid it right on there. And so you can kind of get an idea of what that looks like. All right, so there's the tabletop for my squat rack reverse hyper. Now, the mechanism, all right? The mechanism is really, really simple. And actually, Michael LaPelt, my buddy from up north, actually had this idea on his, and so I just kind of extrapolated a little bit. As you go and you take a look here, all I've done is I've took an inch pipe, T, right there, and then I took a 30-inch pipe here, put another T on it. And then I took an 18-inch pipe, cut it in half, put caps on it, and went ahead and made sure that they threaded it to go ahead and fit the 1-inch T down here, okay? So I've got plenty of space to go ahead and put weights on here. Now, if you're going to take a look at that, that is so rudimentary, so easy, and really for the most part, it doesn't slide back and forth too much. Now maybe as the threads start to wear on the inside, maybe it will. I don't know that it matters anyway. Big thing is that I wanted to go ahead and try and make sure that this thing had plenty of clearance. And you can see, just measure it to the, just shy of the width. So you can still get your plates in. And if you have to move them from side to side, that's no big deal. So that gives you a little bit more space if you need to. So again, very rudimentary. Speaking of rudimentary, you can go ahead and get one of those fancy belts, ankle belts, but you really don't need to. Here are a couple D-ring belts from my pants. Okay, so what I did was I just got a couple D-ring belts, wrapped them around the bottom there, and voila, I've got a strap. So I'm going to show you this so you can kind of get an idea again of what it looks like. Now you may ask, okay, why don't you have a pad on there? Well, guess what? I've kind of figured out you really don't need one. The pool noodle you can change out. I used an old one that sat out in the sun for a while, so I'm going to probably have to change that out before the winter so I can still get the pool noodle. The other thing that you'll take note of is that there is an angulation there. Now, this is something that, as a chiropractor, you might question a little bit. For me, my spine doesn't have a lot of curve in it, but it has a little bit. So this is about between a 5 and a 10 degree angulation there. And all I did was on this, I went ahead and I just made it to where I'm down just one notch lower than I am on this end. That's all I did. So I'm thinking, like I said, between 5 and 10. If you have a large angulation or a large curvature in your lower back, you might choose to make this just flat all the way across. Or in some cases, if you got a pretty good sized belly, you could actually go ahead and do it reversed. In other words, tilt it up about between 5 and 10 degrees. That's something to be, you need to consider, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like to use this monster, alrighty? So hang on just a sec. Okay, so you see it, the setup there, okay? The nice thing is by having a lot of the other plates and whatnot on there is that actually helps with stability, okay? So it's not shaking around too much. Now, like I said, I'm weighing in right at 238, so I've lost quite a bit of weight. But at the same time, by the time you put me on there, you put, at least I've got 90 pounds worth of plates on there. I can do more. I haven't seen what the max load is on that yet. But again, I'm not looking to go ahead and get super crazy, okay? So I'm going to walk across here in front, and we're going to go ahead and set up. Now, what you'll take note of is that I did leave that there for a reason. More than one, not just to put my weights there or my bars there. I also made that there for a step up. So you can see I've got a little spot right through there, so I step right up. I come in through here, get right on the hip bones, and it's almost just, it's just natural. So I grab hold of the 2x4s here, and I preload, get my back nice and tight. I've got my low back nice and tight, and then we're going to start the swing. Alrighty? You can see that this here just does a nice little open. If I want to go ahead and slow it down, that opens my back a little bit more, engages the posterior chain. And you do about 12 of those. There we go. And you can see the swing. All right, slow it down. All right, now use my step, use my elbow, come down, and voila. So, that didn't look too complicated, right? So, what we're going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and leave the space down below so you can ask some questions. But we're going to go ahead and quickly switch to my belt squat machine. So, hang on, be right back. Okay, so many of you already have one of these possibly sitting around. What the heck is it? Well, it's a lat row or a lat pull machine, okay? In this case, mine actually has a bottom pulley right there. So, being the ingenuity-oriented person that I am, I thought, well, I could go ahead and buy a really expensive belt squat machine and support my buddies like Matt Wenning, who has built a phenomenal machine. So if you're going to buy one, buy Matt's machine, okay? He's got it set up so beautifully. But for me, DIY, and I'm not going to be, as competitive as Matt is, not anymore. So I thought, well, let me go ahead and use the other section of that desk that came out of the dumpster. And so that's what I did. So if you take a look here, what have I done? Well, I had a couple options. I could go ahead and, one, drill holes in the cement, which have a beautiful cement floor. I don't know if you noticed that or not. But I could have drilled holes in the cement, and I thought, nah, I don't really want to do that. So what I thought I then would do is go ahead and make some feet that go over the top of the cross post, which is right under here. So these 4x4s, as you can see right here, I notched out. And I notched them out, and you can see that right in there, so that that post can sit in there nice and square. Now the neat thing is that my own body weight is what's going to keep this thing from jumping around. So basic physics, right? I also went ahead and I took my deck screws, and I went ahead and I screwed this out. Now, this is about almost 5 inches there on each side. And it was more of a matter of, it just kind of worked out that way. There's the nice edging there on the front. And there's the space that I have right there for my wheel. And compliments of Goodwill, $14.99 for this old Reebok step, so that I could go ahead and get a little deeper squat when I wanted to. I just kind of put it all together. And right there's my belt squat. Now, I think what I'm going to do, I need to see if I can find a handle, which is probably a dip bar that I could slide right in there where that foam pad is, okay? And I could probably extend that out so it won't get in the road of the cable that rolls up. Now, granted, this does come off at an angle, and you'll see that when I do the lift, but the pull is pretty much directly up. Alrighty? Now, you may take note, and as a chiropractor, I have to do those kinds of things. You see the rug. That rug is about between 5 and 7 millimeters in thickness. For me, that doesn't matter because I actually have a leg length discrepancy that I've discovered over these many years as a chiropractor. And so for me, this actually is better for my pelvis so that I go ahead and I maintain a very level approach to my lift. So you might notice that it's just a little bit off. That's fine. Doesn't matter. It's a good thing in my situation. But again, having a good set of x-rays and having the understanding that maybe a leg length discrepancy could cause you a lot of issues, that's where you need the chiropractic component again. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and put this all together for you so you can see exactly how it works. Alrighty then. Okay, so here's the best angle I could do. Hopefully this thing doesn't fall down or anything. What I do have right here is I've got a nice little carabiner. I have a dual ringed spud belt right in through here that you can see. Listen, guys, if you're gonna do it right. Okay, spud belt's going to be the best way to go ahead and have the comfort. A lot of people go ahead and try and cheat because they want to go ahead and make it a little cheaper and try a dip belt. Don't do it. It's just not the same. So anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get over here and we'll hook up. All right. Now you're going to see I'm going to have to squat down pretty low. There are ways that I could, if I wanted to, say for example, hook on a post in front of this to go ahead and have my start position be high. But I haven't got the parts yet. So I may do that down the road. I don't know yet. But again, I'm not going to try and be major competition guy here with this stuff. So anyway, without further ado, come on over here. Let's watch this. So get right here so I can get nice and tall. Get way, way, way down here using my carabiner. Now the big thing is you want to make sure, and this is where it'd be nice if it was higher, but you want to keep this belt low so it doesn't hurt your back, all right? And as you come up on your heels, just like you're supposed to, kind of get yourself reset if you want to, all righty? Toes based upon your angle. Your angle may be different than mine. So, and all you do, come all the way down. For me, I may have to use that cord. And then come back up again. You can see I'm getting all the way down. Matt would be proud of me. You can see that I don't really have that much weight on here. That's the thing about the cable, is that the tension's consistent and constant as well. Now if I wanted to add weights, maybe I could. But it all goes back to what it is that I want to do. The other thing is, there may be a rating level on the cable holders. This feels nice and comfortable, nice and smooth. And I'll be honest with you, this stuff wins you, especially when you're an old guy. All right, a little more flexibility when I was done. So, as you can see, there's a nice little bit of motion there for you. If you want to go ahead and have any questions or anything like that offered to me, just go ahead and write them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. If any questions on the biomechanics from a chiropractic standpoint, let me know. I'll see what I can do. However, I can't diagnose. I'm not supposed to, not online. Anyway, with that being the case, I hope you found this to be all very, very helpful. And I'm out of shape, so maybe I need to turn this 238 into a little bit more muscle or something, huh? All right, anyway, I again hope you found this interesting. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, this may be very, very helpful. For me, Most of the parts come out of the dumpster. I had a 4x4 in the garage. I had another 2x4 in the garage. So the only thing I really spent out of all this, of things that I didn't have, was basically a saw blade and then some screws, some deck screws, and another 2x4 and some pipe. That's it. So I think you could probably find out that this here might work for you as well. So anyway, hey, listen, this is Dr. Todd McDougall, Strongman Doc, and we'll see you at a contest near you, or heck, maybe we'll even see you in the office. Have a good day. We'll see you. We'll poke at you. See you around.